Oh, man. Just in time. Yeah. Gotta get on the record. It's
Okay, come on, silent.
Everyone who's joining is muted. Friendly reminder.
These mics are live all the time, by the way.
like, they don't have to be turned on.
You can't turn them off.
Okay.
Like
I can if you get silly.
She's got the power.
I tried that. The light went out for a moment and came back on.
And I think our testing too is that it'll pick up, like if you turn yours off because you want to talk, it's like the other mics will pick it up.
Yeah.
There's no like.
Are you going to join, Sarah?
Got
It's
some
not
wire
even giving me an option to
cutters, so-
start
Yeah.
meeting, because I'm in the council one. Can I just do that?
Why don't you do it now before we, and then you want to go join as co-host?
Just says start.
I think. And then, yeah. You'll go stick co-host there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience during these transitional times.
Ready? Do I have to wait for her to come in? Okay, I'm going to get started. Welcome to the May 14th meeting of the official Community Plan Steering Committee. Before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge with gratitude that we are gathered on the traditional and unceded territory of the Squamish Nation. As we begin the consultation on the draft official community plan, we do so with respect for the ongoing stewardship, histories, and voices of the Indigenous people in this place. So I have before you an agenda, so I'm going to follow this. So just starting with the approval of the agenda, are there any late items for the agenda?
And for me,
Seeing none, do we have a recommendation to approve the agenda? Yes, we do, David. Do we need second?
Yep.
Oh, second, Betty? Oh, no, not Betty. Betty didn't want a second. Okay, no. Adam. Okay, all in favor? Okay, approved. Okay, thank you. Next up is item number 2, the adoption of our March 19th minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those. And the recommendation is that the minutes be adopted. Do I have someone move that? Adam, second. David, all in favor? Okay, carried. Thank you. And so, do we have any public comments?
we do not.
We do not have any public comments. It's item 3. So moving on to item number 4 on the agenda. 4.1 is there was a presentation just the other day to council on the progress to date of the OCP. Daniel gave that presentation, and both David and I were there to answer any questions. I'm going to, sorry?
And Betty.
Oh, sorry, and Betty was there. Sorry, I apologize. I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to speak to this item. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we presented to council. I think we had a good reception. Thank you, to David and Jim for there, and for Betty and Glenn was in the audience as well, I think, and giving support. I think lots of appreciation from council on the work of the committee and the overall impression of the document. You'll see in the agenda the presentation we gave, which is largely based on the slides that Sarah had developed and sort of presented those overarching points. I'm trying to think, some of the specific feedback we got was probably mostly from the mayor around, desires for engagement and wanting to make sure we're reaching out to as many people as possible. So one of the takeaways he specifically mentioned was like a mail out notice to everyone, which Sarah has on her list that we'll be putting together to send out next week. So it will go out to everybody so it essentially goes out to every mailbox on Bowen, or every residential mailbox on Bowen, I think is the list, and they'll get the things. We'll have a link to the website and the survey and the notice period. Trying to think what else I can.
There was one thing maybe because I've paid attention to this in the document, and I still think we have some work to do on that.
Yes.
Was some of the inconsistency in the language throughout the policies. And that's something that we have noted, and I'm sure we're going to hear from others as we go through the consultation on that. And just to make note of that. So that was from the mayor. He basically said that, you know, trying to have some level of consistency amongst how and how we're framing those policies and objectives.
Yeah, and that's, thanks for that reminder. And I think that was a takeaway for me too, with almost having a, you know, a table or a document, like we'd received the thing from the lawyer saying, you know, okay, these, you know, if it's about the municipality, we should say these words, and if it's about, it should be these words. And so maybe then there's something that goes with it that says, this is why these policies say, you know, municipality should consider, and these are why these say, you know, people shall, people, you know, we shall prohibit or something, and there's some rationale that we can say, okay, we can refer to it and say, this is why we're being consistent, because we've thought about it and we know the level of what these policies are. So that was helpful feedback. And he had feedback on temporary use permits, which I don't think we've talked about a whole lot. They're in the implementation section of the OCP. But so something to flag to consider when we.
I gathered there must have been some history with that, like something that I certainly wasn't aware of. So I figured you'd be, not that we need to get into this today, but that was probably something that you.
At times there's been,
The question what was the last thing you just said about what was questions were asked about?
temporary use permits.
Temporary tops, yeah. I don't understand the problem with that one, so.
Okay, any, also I wanted to note that I think it was Steph who sent around a follow-up note on the YouTube channel where the council meeting is recorded on where to find the presentation if you're looking specifically of what kind of questions were at. So look for that email if you haven't already seen it. Anything else on this update, Daniel? No?
No, I think
Okay.
I think it went smoothly. I think it's
Okay.
my takeaway. Council was appreciative. And I think, I think Jim, you did a good job of stressing to council and to anybody watching that, you know, this is very much a draft as well. And we are, you know, eager to hear what people say. And so we're not, it's not like this is it. And like, you can comment on, you know, if the periods are in the right places, but we're saying, no, we want to hear what people think and tell us if we're on the right track.
No doubt. Okay, thank you, David, for David. How about who's David? Daniel. Let's move on to item number 5 on the agenda is where we're going to spend the most of our time today on engagement and communication. So we have a range of different things that we need to discuss today, from the discussion guide to surveys to materials, etc. So this really is sort of the do and die of making sure that we can get through this to start the consultation period. So we will deal with this probably to the bitter end, but I will do my best to try to keep us on top here because there's a lot of items, and no doubt we'll probably have a lot of discussion around that. So we're going to start with the discussion guide. And Adam, you might see that your name is attached to this, and hopefully you got the email with a little heads up that you.
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Sarah and I have been talking about it.
Oh,
previously,
good.
so
Okay. So take it away, Adam.
happy to speak to that. So this would be page 8 in the agenda package. What?
Did you want me to? I
Yeah,
made
sure.
a few edits
Yeah.
and I can share.
Okay, I started sharing the old one, but I will unshare. You go ahead.
I just made some this morning quickly.
Sarah, do you want me to walk through this or?
You are welcome to. and
Yeah,
we can-
sure.
We can tag team.
This is something that we talked about at a few of these meetings previously. A discussion guide, which would be complementary to the survey. This would be a document that would be on the website that somebody could read before or during their responding to the survey. And it's where we would provide additional information on certain items in the OCP that maybe require additional information. So, for example, what is a development permit area? What do they do? What do they not do? And the way that it's structured right now is just providing like some background on the process, the purpose of the guide, about OCPs, about our OCP. A brief recap of what we heard in the first round of engagement. And then kind of high-level summary of the main sticky points in the survey. So would share the vision, the principles, the frameworks. And then there is a section by section for each of the areas within the OCP. And this would be where we would provide that kind of explanatory opening preamble. And then some of the kind of key considerations or trade-offs for each area of focus. So you'll see they're in the same sequence as the OCP itself. You'll also see that they are unpopulated right now. So I think it was 2 meetings ago, Daniel circulated a template for this.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yes, please do.
Could you zoom to page width on that?
How
'Cause
do I do
can't
that?
even read the close one.
And is there some way you can get rid of the transcription underneath so we can actually read it?
If I can do that.
You want me to get rid of captions?
Yeah, get rid of the captions on that one.
Is that better? Yeah.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
better, thank you.
No, you're
Even
welcome.
better, thank you. Sorry, I
That's even better.
just want to read what you wrote.
Yep. So yeah, so some of that text you'll see is kind of coming from the draft OCP itself, and then what is ahead of us for work to do would be for each one of the committees to populate their respective template. And then we can, if I'm correct, share those back with Sarah,
Yes, 100%.
who will incorporate into the consolidated document. And then this will be just something like a nice to have for the survey and engagement period.
Yeah, so I did populate, I sort of just grabbed some kind of placeholder text for now on these, which definitely needs to be updated, but I just sort of wanted to have something in there so I wasn't just showing up with a whole bunch of blank pages. But yeah, so there's this one.
I believe for the transportation one, I did populate that one as like an
Okay.
example.
I think
So
Oh,
maybe
you
this
did.
one,
it's that one, and then there's transportation mobility. These aren't your words, actually.
Okay,
I
okay,
can move
no,
your.
all good. Mr. Deland has his hand up too.
Yeah. Go ahead, Glenn.
Hi, folks. I think this is a fantastic document, or it will be. I'm wondering if we could add brief comparisons of any significant modifications from the current OCP, whether that might be helpful, just to draw people's attention to how things are changing.
I think that's a great suggestion. I think that's a great suggestion.
Yeah.
We did that for the transportation, like our group. Yeah, like what are the big changes from 2011? Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Do you want to do that sort of section by section, or
Yeah.
just one page with everything?
I think section by
Section by
section.
section? Okay.
I think, yeah, like in the area of focus, if it says why this matters, and then it's almost like what's in the draft is what we could think
Yeah.
about, or like, and then you'd say like, big focus in this draft is changing some,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yeah, like for example, the transportation one, Glenn, would be like increased focus on active transportation. Would be like the big difference.
And Allison, and then I want to make some comments.
I haven't read through all of this unfortunately, because we were tied up yesterday. So just looking at purpose of this discussion guide right at the beginning.
Mhm.
The first bullet says provide plain language explanations.
Oh, I thought I changed that. I did take, I thought I'd taken plain language out.
I think you should take plain language out.
I have
because
in this thing I'll
that
show you.
sort of
Yeah.
just raises the question of, well,
Yeah.
why wasn't it an understandable language
Yeah.
to start with?
No, I caught that and I actually changed that this morning. Sorry, on this big,
Okay,
I'll get this, where are we? There you go. It's this now.
And then my other big concern all along is there's so many pictures. And if you have somebody who wants to print it,
Yeah, it's a lot of pictures.
then they've got to print all this colored stuff.
Mhm.
And it's a waste of ink and really, do the pictures add anything? It makes it look pretty, but it doesn't make it more readable.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to add on this document that in terms of the why this matters, I like that as a sort of an intro to each section. And then the next one was key trade-offs. Some of them aren't necessarily key trade-offs. So what I thought was sort of key takeaways could be trade-offs. So like, what is it you need to know about this section? And so that sort of is it's different from the last, or here's like the key things that you need to know. So I kind of liked that with that framing, because I know for our area, I was thinking, well, I don't know what the necessarily trade-off is, but I can tell you what the key takeaway that we want you to know about this area is. So
I think that's fair.
okay. Any other, Adam, do you want to continue? Was there something else that you wanted to continue?
I think like maybe the only question would be about the timeline for each subcommittee to provide that, mindful that engagement starts pretty soon.
Right. Sarah, I'd asked you, you said you had not received anything from any of the committees. Is
I
that
had,
correct?
then I checked and I had received one in the SharePoint there. It doesn't, once I have it, it really doesn't take me long to just sort of put it in there. And because it's come directly from you guys, I will be comfortable to just pop it in there and have that be that. But the sooner the better would be really helpful.
Like Monday?
Yeah, Monday, 3 p.m.
Monday, 3 p.m. It's
Or-
holiday. It's a holiday.
Yeah,
Maybe
So-
not for me though.
Tuesday, 8 a.m.
Tuesday, 11:32.
Noon on
Yeah, the
Tuesday.
sooner the better.
Okay.
I got one more
Yes,
question.
go ahead,
I'm
please.
reading this as I'm going along. So under transportation, you've got key trade-offs and you've said road space for vehicles versus non-motorized users.
I think
Yeah, that's just a
Allison,
whole-
in general, each of those content areas is sort of a placeholder that was
Oh,
just put
okay.
in that our point is we're looking for the content from the subcommittees or that we have to go through. So
Yeah,
please
because
don't
we only
focus on
have
the
2-lane roads everywhere,
Please-
so
yeah,
there's
please don't
no
focus on them.
way you can have less.
And Adam, you did say that did you already populate in the SharePoint, or you had already drafted it for transportation?
I have it, Adam. You
Yeah.
have it.
Okay.
When I shared it back with
Yeah.
Sarah and Daniel,
Yeah, I
it was
have it.
included there.
Okay.
But I think probably good for the transportation subcommittee to take another look at it, just make sure everything's good. Cause I kind of just did it myself as to
you want
provide an
me-
example.
Do you want me to pop it into that SharePoint
Sure,
document?
yeah,
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so just to be clear, everything will be in the SharePoint for
Yeah.
people to look at and draft. One of the things in there, and we were just discussing this, is you can edit it. Unlike before, we could only add comments. You can actually edit, but it won't redline. So you don't know how it's been edited.
Oh,
So I know there's only 3 of us. I'm not worried about that for one committee, but for the others, I don't know if you guys have a different, you might want to just touch base, make sure everybody's comfortable with that.
Always, could you highlight or change the font? And then when it's finalized, turn the font back to black?
I don't know.
or can you just put your suggested change in a comment?
Yeah, you can put it, you could, but someone's got to draft it at the end. That's all.
There's no track changes or?
No, I didn't, on my version, and I didn't see a way to do the track changes, but
I
We
think
could also, sorry, the 3 of us could use a Google sheet with track changes, and once it's finalized and copy paste it. over.
sure, each committee,
Smart.
just keep that in mind if you're going in there and going, oh, I'm now editing out everything that someone else put in and
Right.
nobody knows.
Right.
Melanie?
Do we know what the format needs to be? Has that already been circulated? It is, okay, just have to go back and look.
It
at
is,
what-
it's also in here, just that two
Like-
key clips.
It's just those two key, why this matters and key takeaways is what we have to do.
and also maybe like the difference from like
And
what's new
differences.
from 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can like recirculate and just.
Yeah, I can
update the-
resend it, yeah.
So
Okay.
three sections.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
And just brief, because we're just
Yeah.
gonna have one page for each, so it's just the things to get people talking,
We're just trying to keep it to that one page.
Yeah. no pictures.
Okay.
So where does the zoning fit in? Is that under land use
There's
policy?
a land use, yeah, piece, so. And we could talk about too, when we talk about the survey, like I think we spent more time now on like the survey and preamble wording for the survey, and some of that we might just copy, you know, that's kind of what comes into the sections as well in terms of like, what's the background on this information. And then I think too, for that, for the land use designation one, I would be using what I presented to council, which is kind of what's on the boards, which is like, there were 4 key takeaways for the land use consolidation, land use designations. And that's what I would be saying are the key takeaways. And same with development permit areas. Again, it's like, it would be copying what I presented to council as those key points.
Yeah, because I guess, but I haven't had a chance to research it, but with the land use, are there areas on the island where they're already developed and built? And I'll just use Tunstall as an example. But with neighborhood, there seems to be a very defined size for lots. And I'm not sure if all those lots fit in that size or they're too small and now if they're
They
not
don't,
gonna
I mean, that's,
conform
I
to the
guess,
OCP.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that exists already. Like many lots on Bowen are smaller than the minimum lot size that like the OCP would say.
Yeah,
And some of that has to do with like just, I mean, partly it's just like servicing requirements and that, but some of it is, yeah, deliberate, I guess, I don't know. But so from the 2011 OCP and our current land use bylaw, existing lots like in Deep Bay are smaller than the lot sizes permitted.
yeah. But where does that leave all those people
So
if their house burns down?
it doesn't have any effect. So it will only have effect when considering new lot creations. It doesn't impact what people can do on their current property.
I guess that's a question we might anticipate people asking.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take us.
So just
oh, sorry,
process wise
yes.
for action. So the action is by Tuesday at 3 p.m. have it uploaded to SharePoint and indicate to Sarah via email that you've done so.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay.
And I'm also going to put, I'm going to resend everything so that everybody has the most up-to-date copy and put Adam's transportation section into the SharePoint document for his group to have a look at.
At the end of our meeting, we may have a few other sort of action items, so we should summarize that and make sure that,
It's part of the agenda.
yeah. Oh, well then there we go. Okay, you're thinking ahead. I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna move us to 5.2, which is the survey. So Daniel, you'll take us through that. That's on page 22 of your agenda if you're following along.
Okay, let me put it up here. Okay, okay, so what we have is draft survey. So we as staff took a first cut at trying to think about, okay, what questions we want to ask. Sent to McElhaney, who sent revised and sort of had some back and forth on this draft. But so key things we were trying to think about is like, you know, what feedback do we want? What are the policies in the OCP we specifically want to call out to like ask feedback on, and try not to have questions where like they don't really tell us anything. So in some of the drafts, you know, experience that in the first phase as well. It's like, okay, what would we learn from this question? What do we want people to ask? And then trying to keep it to somewhat limited in time. So the survey is structured like the OCP. We start with the OCP vision and principles. We go through the content areas into the land use designations and the development permit areas. And then at the end, we have demographics, and that one we've kept right now. It's essentially exactly the same as the first survey. So we can compare like, how did we do in terms of overall demographics? Okay, so I don't know if it's best, I'll just launch into it, I guess. I'll say too, when we originally drafted it, we'd had some questions that were about like balancing trade-offs and priorities, and McElhaney's strong advice was not to include that in the survey. They said it can be divisive in a survey. Some of it is like, well, if it's balancing stuff, are you prepared? Everyone says we really want this. It's like, would you actually make that change or not? Like, be careful what you're asking about for what you want to change. And so we sort of reflected on it and thought, okay, maybe that's correct, maybe it's not the best way, but so we'll have them in the pop-up boards, those balancing things, where it's sort of a conversation you have with people and you can sort of engage with people and say, okay, where would you land on this? This is what we're trying to do at the, drafting the policy level, but it's not necessarily straight up in the policy itself. Yeah, and big feedback from McElhaney was often like, don't ask questions of things that you don't want to change, or you're not able to change. Like, don't set people's expectations up to say like, do you want to meet not that we asked this, but like, do you want to meet the provincial housing needs requirements, right? Because it's like, well, you have to. So why ask about it? You don't have a choice. Okay, so we show the vision statement. We say this is the vision statement in the OCP. And we ask essentially this, and throughout we all ask for this 5 scale, like, do you strongly agree? Do you agree? Do you neutrally disagree? Do you strongly disagree? For the vision statement, and ask, is there any part you think should be changed, added to, or removed? And what we're asking intentionally is like, do you agree that it represents the Bowen Island community? So we're not asking like, is this your vision for Bowen? But we're asking, does this represent the community? So
It's a good
it's a little
distinction.
nuance. Yeah, because we say, well, it's not my vision, but you're like, but I guess it works for everybody else. So I don't know. I don't know how much people sort of internalize that, but that's kind of the goal of the question. We then list the 8 guiding principles. We don't specifically ask on each one because we thought that's going to be a lot to drive people through. And I know, like in the first phase survey, that's when we asked for the existing guiding principles. We asked people to rank them. And I think that was a big almost barrier for people completing the survey. So where I think a lot of times the survey failed was in that ranking system. And it just took a lot of time for people who complained there was a lot of reading. So then we ask overall, again, do you agree that they represent the Bowen Island community? And then open-ended question about, do you think it should be changed, added to, removed? So this is where you could say, you don't have a principle that does this. You could specifically call it, yes.
So I'm wordsmithing, I know, but to what extent do you agree that these guiding principles represent the Bowen Island community? Bowen Island community is what? So isn't it represent the wishes of the Bowen Island community, or the thoughts of the Bowen Island community, or because you're,
The vision.
well, it's question 4 on the principles.
Yeah, the principles of the Bowen Island community.
Yeah.
Values.
It's just how it represents the community.
Well, to me, I have no idea what the communities or
Community views?
view is, maybe. I mean, somebody who isn't really involved in the community, you've got agree, disagree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree, but you haven't got, no idea.
Right, that don't know. Option.
And
Can I make an action that we think about this word off? What?
Sure, good idea. Go ahead, Betty.
What if we just said, these guiding principles represent Bowen Island?
Or resonate.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Is there an intent for you to get comments from us individually on this?
Yeah, I mean, there's some opportunity, like we have to, like we want to spend time, we want to make sure we have the survey loaded in the survey platforms, we're able to test it extensively. So, I mean, I would be saying, oh, probably when, like, by tomorrow.
If we get it, we're going live on the 22nd,
Yeah.
correct?
yeah.
I mean, because we'll kind of begin if we get stuff Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask is
Yeah.
if there's an opportunity, I would prefer us to just get a
Yeah.
good overview of
Yeah.
this and then allow individuals to
Yeah.
come back, and if they have an idea
Yeah.
for a word
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Okay.
put it,
Sure.
in this, if there's an opportunity
Yeah.
in a SharePoint
Sounds
or
good.
something like that.
And I'm sort of just flagging here track changes of like, oh, we had discussion about this. And I'll say in terms of the don't know, like one of the recommendations from McElhaney is make all the questions optional. So they're all optional. So if somebody says, oh, I don't really have an opinion on the principles, they don't have to. And then that gives us a sense, even if we had this many and, only half the people answered this question. Well,
And do they have to say, will it be a prompt, I don't have an opinion, or is it just? they can
no,
just
there's
ignore
all
it?
optional.
Yeah, it's
just
So
like
you
a-
don't have to complete
Got it,
any.
okay. Fritz had a,
Well, it's actually the same what Danielle just mentioned, but in those options, you can say no comment. It's like,
Yeah.
it kind of forces you to to have to actually have an opinion. Right. What if you don't have an opinion about it? It's just no opinion, no comment.
Do you have to answer everyone in order to finish?
They're all optional.
Good.
Okay, and it will say that
Yeah.
presumably. Okay.
And so then plowing ahead, so and so kind of the high level thinking of these two is like, okay, what did we want to ask about in these sections? What will it tell us if people respond? So so the next one being the environmental stewardship, resource management thing. And so what we essentially did is we flagged, please indicate your level of agreement with the following approaches. And I'll admit I had this was a struggle as well in terms of, you know, are we asking stuff that's sort of like, so the first one is like expanding ecological corridors in conservation areas, and the second one being limiting development in sensitive ecosystems. Both of them are there. They're sort of examples of things that are in the OCP policies, but you know, like I might anticipate most people say, "Oh, I strongly agree," and I don't know how much we learn from it necessarily, but they're there. The third one being adopting tree retention forest protection bylaw, which is a policy we thought, okay, that's a good question. We asked it sort of in the first phase. It almost called out tree protection bylaw, and then we put it in the plan. And then it's like, we'd like to know if people want this or not. I think that's valuable. And then like in all of them, we'll have a blank, give any overall comments on the proposed policies. So for this section, I guess, is takeaway thoughts. It's like, are there other policies in the environmental section that we think we would like to hear feedback on, that we think, you know, would drive, discussion, or like make us think about whether we want to include things or not. And I will say there's a question later about conservation development. I think it's in the housing policy section. So we didn't include it in here, so we don't have like two questions about it. It seemed redundant.
So I assume there's an attempt not to just ask a leading question that there, of course, you have to say you strongly agree with.
Yeah, that's
So-
kind of the goal. It's like we don't want questions that are just like, do you agree that everyone should have clean water? Right? It's like, no, right? What's the kind of,
Right. Adam.
I think it makes sense because it's good to get a temperature check on some of those things. Like we heard a lot about the environment, and so you know,
Do you still
like
feel that way?
I think it's good later we can point back and say, you know, we got feedback that this was strongly supported. Like I think it's like for our process, I think really good and helpful.
Yeah.
Is this a CYA?
What's that?
Is this a CYA?
Later, there's an example though, and I flagged it in the comments that I sent back to you, which was there's some things that BIM has already got community direction on. And my comment was like, for those ones, I'm not sure we want to reopen the box. Like the example was like the Cross Island map.
Yeah.
Through the 2018 transportation plan, strong priority for the community. The question was like, do you support the map? Like, I think that's already been established.
So I had put that in specifically because, I mean, essentially council has stalled progress in terms of funding for the next phase of it. So then I was like, oh, maybe it's nice to have a question in again to say like, is this still or not? So
my suggestion was more about like, should it be a priority? Like,
right.
less about the MUP as like a you know existing and more like should this be a priority? Like as a suggestion.
Yeah.
I have Fritz next.
Yeah, this is just basically about one word, because if you say adoption, tree retention, forest protection, then people that worry about fire hazard will say no. But if it says, for instance, tree management and forest management, that I think is closer, because you can manage it for fire hazard and you can manage it for biodiversity. So I'm just afraid that something like that, you don't know why people say no. And I think with fire protection being a huge deal at the moment, fire hazard, that this is more, is it better to have a separate fire hazard?
That's the DPA though, right?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
so I'd
maybe
say like
this
this language is like just straight from the policy, and that's what the policy has to consider. I mean, it's true, if people disagree, then you're sort of debating, okay, did they disagree because they think, why did they disagree? I don't know, but.
Yeah, but I guess what's the purpose of it?
Okay, I'll let you.
I
answer the
feel
question.
like if you felt strongly about fire protection, then you would put that in the comment. You'd say,
We also have to be somewhat careful that we're not starting to use language that people don't understand. So if we keep it either consistent or allow them to put a comment in there. So. I worry that we're gonna really run out of time.
Yeah.
If we go through each question, and I know that's not our intent.
so the action is to send in those specific.
Yeah, so I think
comments
that
in by-
have a look at those with that. The one thing that I'm wondering, clearly you can't ask a question about every policy.
Mhm.
And I know that you had asked for the circular economy section saying
Yeah.
there's only 2 questions. Is that okay? I'm thinking, yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Because as long as you've got that that ability and that open-ended, what do you think is missing? And I just wonder if we should kind of use more provocative language instead of add, delete, et cetera. It's
Right.
kind of ask them, did we get this right? Or, sort of like, did we miss something here? Or there's, something that would prompt that kind of, I don't know what the exact question is, but something that is more along those lines. Like what did we miss? Did we miss something? As opposed to, is there something we should add?
Sure.
Or something a little bit more provocative, because I think we will get a
Yeah.
lot of open-ended, but that may be the only way that we can get at the heart of, getting, other than getting a strongly agree with, oh, I like that policy, I like that policy.
Yeah, I think that's a really great, I think we just add a couple of questions like what you've done here, like should some policies go further, like just provide like some
Yeah.
framing questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Melanie, you did have something, didn't you?
I'm debating whether to ask this question or not now.
Do it.
But, what do we do if we get a surprise answer to some of these? Is there an option to go back and look at it again?
I think that's what we're saying, yeah, like if.
Is that like if we get, say, on question C, strongly disagree,
Yeah,
is the overall, do we go back and explore that? Or,
Do you mean in the draft? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
yeah,
Or,
like,
know-
do we just drop it? Like, what are we gonna do with the answers here?
I think that you would explore it or then go back and say, okay, we did hear, it might show you where you have some area to do some further work on.
Okay,
So it
we would
might-
go back.
So the
and
policy
explore
could,
deeper.
or something could be maybe sort of saying, we need to explore this further in the next 5 years or
Yeah.
something, as opposed to absolutely do this. So it gives you that the whole point is to give you
Mhm.
guidance around where these policy directions are going, so that how the community feels about it. Doesn't mean to say that you're not gonna bring them forward even as is, but you better have a way of knowing that, what's council's solution to, you have a community that really doesn't like something. I don't, I'm speaking hypothetically here, so. There was someone else, I thought Kirsten first.
I had a thought, but I
Yeah.
can just let it go.
Sure, okay.
Well, I
Alfred.
guess the question is, to me is on a lot of these, if you disagree, are we going to ask a question to say why you disagreed? Because that's
That's-
different than, do you have any overall comments on proposed policies?
Or if I could build on that, what we could say is, where we say, do you have any overall comments on proposed environmental policies? Could also say, if you disagreed or strongly disagreed in any of the points,
Yeah.
please share with us more information.
But
I
that's
just feel
also
like
equally
people
true
will.
for strongly.
Yeah,
agree.
I would,
Yeah.
it is a bit of a rabbit hole that we go
You
I
down.
know, that's why that's.
I
the
think
idea had.
I think we just have to leave it with overall comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I don't
think,
know.
because at the end of the day, we're just trying to get a snapshot to see if
Mhm.
we're on track or not. And if there's something that's horribly skewed, then we'll know.
If somebody really hates a particular policy, they'll say it.
That's,
Yeah.
just say it. I mean, have you met
Yeah,
anyone who
I don't
won't say
think
what
we
they
need to,
think?
like,
You don't have
like,
to tease it out.
Sprinkle crumbs to that
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
thing. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Trust me, if there's an open comment section.
Yeah.
In this community?
It'll, yeah. Yeah, if anything, we should have like a character limit on that. Think of 50 characters.
Okay, back to you.
All right,
Daniel.
so then going on to housing. And so again, we asked about some of the housing policies. So the first one being more small scale multi-unit housing in residential areas, e.g. duplexes, triplexes. Second one being conservation development, where rezoning applications, and I put in increasing density, see 50% of our property protected. And the third one being creating a maximum dwelling size for new single family homes with additional floor space allowed if high energy efficient targets are met or rental housing or other amenities are provided. So those are the three, and then overall comments. So those are the three that we had pulled out. We did get comments from McElhaney essentially saying like, for this one with the small scale multi-unit housing duplex triplexes, they said, well, if people say they don't agree, would you go with that approach? And I said, well, probably yes. Like if people say, no, I want Bowen to be single family character only, then
My
I
only
think we're take that.
question was about that, like what is provincially legislated
Mhm.
that we can't actually.
Yeah. So if Bowen becomes, 5,000, then we have to implement small scale multi-unit housing where properties are served by municipal water and municipal sewer.
And
So,
that's full-time,
Hill.
not part-time, full-time population.
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
the census.
Whatever, if this census that's
Right.
happening right now,
Yeah.
if we're over 5,000, then we're stuck. We have to do schmooze.
Yeah, but only
Full-time.
in those areas. So
But
it's a pretty
We
small
don't have any
subset. of-
capacity in the Sud Cove sewer to do anything,
Yeah.
so.
All right, so those are the three that I've flagged as like, and same with the idea of, maximum dwelling size with bonuses is again, as a policy we have that like would be a future council thing. It'd be nice to know if people are supportive or not.
Melanie has a question.
I was just, we maybe need to have some wording about what if that mentioned cluster housing in tiny homes, because that seems to always come up. I think
Like as a question, do you mean, or as a?
if we're trying to put questions in here that to spark feedback and debate, I think that is the sort of the wording that seems to come up mostly in
Yeah,
community chatter.
right.
So I think if you don't have it in there, your comment box might
Right.
be filled
Yeah.
with that. And that's really what I think I think there's more curiosity about that type of housing than there is with duplexes. So I think you
Right.
might get a feedback that's
Okay.
negative using triplexes and
Right,
duplexes
right.
because what people tend to think about in the community is like, what about tiny homes? And things.
Okay.
So I don't know if you'd get a
Yeah.
realistic,
Right.
or I don't know.
I'm gonna say like, I don't think the OCP and the housing policies, the current doesn't have policies around allowing tiny homes. We talk about pocket neighborhoods.
Well, anyways,
But,
that
yeah.
type of wording that I think
Yeah.
resonates more
Sure.
with what people are actually talking about it. I've never come across any conversations where people are talking about duplexes and
Right.
triplexes personally, but.
Maybe the question is about like, types of development that don't exist currently on Bowen. We provide a couple examples, and then there's the discussion guide where we could
Is it
describe. provide-
development or housing?
What's that?
Is it the word development or is it word types of housing?
I think for this one, housing.
I agree.
Yeah.
So if it's like my more diverse, small scale housing in
Sure.
residential areas. Small. homes.
I mean, people don't know. I mean, I think there's a huge discussion, lack of information. What is a tiny home?
That can be the question. Do you know what this actually is?
Define a tiny home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Discussion
thanks.
guide. Discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, how's it defined in the zoning bylaw?
It isn't.
it's not, it's like we allow dwellings. There's no minimum dwelling size, but a dwelling means it has a building permit. It meets BC building code. It meets step code. It's a dwelling of any size. It has a kitchen and a eating area and a sleeping area and a bathroom. Yeah. Okay, interest of time, I'm gonna keep plowing forward. So resilient and circular economy. And yeah, this is one we struggled with, like what we're asking about. So the first one is about, do you agree developing a circular economy? which again is sort of in the category of like, what do we do if people disagree with it? You know, so we're asking something that, yeah, is a little more awkward. From that point of view. And then the second one being about tourism. And I don't know if I'm 100% happy with how it's worded in terms of, but that's what comes from the plan. So
I think that the way it's worded will generate conversation. And I think if that's the purpose of it, then I think we
Yeah.
have to mention tourism,
Okay.
but by the way you phrased it there, I think it hopefully will generate conversation rather than we don't want tourists.
yeah, I know, because it'd be like,
I
do you think
don't
we
know.
should promote tourism to come to Bowen to stimulate the economy? Is a different question. Yeah.
Fritz, go ahead.
Yeah, there's one more thing about tiny homes. I just look at it. They fit in A, B, and C. Like, you know, I mean, like if you want to do tiny homes, you can do that in different zoning schedules. Like it's not that, what I kept saying, if you have the question and if you phrase it more in general, then yeah, you can phrase the question. But it can sit in, because you have attached to detached, right? So if you go through these different zoning schedules, a lot of them actually can permit tiny homes in it.
Okay, so I'm in transportation. And so same idea, we've pulled out transportation policies to ask questions about. So the first one, yeah, we had put Cross Island multi-use path. So maybe it's like prioritizing the development. Does that make sense, Adam? It's like, because you're right. I mean, it's been a priority for a while.
We say
It's just-
prioritizing the funding, because that's,
Yeah.
that's a sticking point
Yeah.
on it. I don't know.
I mean, nothing else do we specifically like call out, I guess, funding
You're
that
shaking
much.
your head.
No, I mean, no, you're right. I just, I think development singular is safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of different ways it could be funded.
Yeah.
Not necessarily only by them.
So
Yeah.
you like the word prioritize?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, second one being adding traffic calming measures where appropriate to reduce vehicle speed. Something we get feedback for, it's a policy in it.
Or
Not
traffic
everybody
calming
agrees.
measures, is that gonna be in the discussion guide, talking about what different ones they are?
Yeah, we can totally, yes.
So we don't get inundated with
Yeah,
emails
right.
about speed bumps?
And the third one being another policy we have is considering pay parking for short-term visits and all-day commuter parking in Snug Cove. That's interesting.
I think it's a really good one.
Yeah,
It's
I was
really
like,
good. But I mean, back to having like ammo to make certain,
Mhm.
like, I think that's a brilliant question.
And then overall comments, and then community vitality. And this one again was a struggle for some of them. So, you know, this first question, I don't know that I love asking about the plan where it says, do you agree the draft plan supports a community? So would love feedback on this one from people. If they've thoughts of other things we could ask in this community vitality section. I'll say that like I specifically didn't want to ask about reconciliation goals. And like the Islands Trust policy statement has a what we heard report that's out. And in it, they spend extensive time apologizing for comments they received in return to questions about reconciliation. So
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
It's a given.
Yeah. So anyway, so the questions are about accessibility and then about the heritage. How supportive you strengthening heritage legislative tools to protect buildings and properties. So something that the plan calls for is using various tools to protect heritage on Bowen. So asking for that, because then sometimes it, you know, it's one that comes up against people's conflict then with like, well, what are you doing for, why are you, telling people what they can and can't do with their private property. Okay. Land use designations, then what we have is so we give a little overview, what we're doing. Do you agree with the proposed consolidation of categories of land use designations, which is maybe a little vague? And then we call out 3 of the designations. So neighborhood commercial. Do you agree with the uses? Oh no, maybe just 2. Yeah. Originally, there was one about village commercial in Snug Cove, and we thought this is kind of silly because they're like, I don't agree with retail in Snug Cove. It's like, oh, kind of like, it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
That's not have a ferry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alfred.
So in the discussion guide, are you going to say which land use categories have been consolidated? because nobody's gonna know.
Yeah, we could, yeah. And so what I had here is we'd either show them in the map or we'd link, like show the map. So you look at the map, and I think discussion guide would have, here's the proposed land use map. Here's the proposed land use table of the designation. So it would be there and the description. So in the survey, either it's actually here, which might be too big, or it might be like, here's a link to go.
Well,
use
yeah,
it.
you're saying proposed
Yeah.
consolidation, so are you gonna somewhere show them what the proposed consolidation is?
Don't we
Yeah.
have that on the map, on
We do
the
have
boards
some,
as well?
Yeah.
So whatever we have there, be consistent.
Yeah. Okay. And then the one we really wanted to ask about was neighborhood residential and 3 of the elements in it. So it proposes that they could see rezonings for townhouses. So 4 to 8 townhouses on one property, pocket neighborhoods where there's clustered groups of small houses around a shared open space, and then neighborhoods supporting commercial uses. And so those are 3 things that the neighborhood residential designation says council can support these applications. And so I thought it was good to know.
Is
Yeah, that
pocket
people
neighborhood defined anywhere?
It's
not in the
defined in the
cluster groups
OCP.
of-
It's in the glossary, but
It
here
is
when
in
it
the
says,
glossary now,
cluster
because it
groups.
wasn't.
yes.
Yeah.
And when it says clustered groups of small houses around a shared open space, that's close to the definition. And then overall comment. So, okay. And then development permit areas. Yeah. Yeah.
My comment was on this is the 2 questions are both the new ones.
Yeah.
But I believe, and this is maybe just more of a general question, is that like, there's also some changes to existing ones.
Yeah.
And I think it would be good
Okay.
to confirm those ones as well.
Okay.
Like, not the ones that we're not making any
Yeah.
changes to, but if we're significantly changing the scope of like an existing one, it's probably good to
Okay.
flag.
just again confirm that people are supportive of it.
Okay. So that's
Okay.
that's the updated environmentally sensitive area map, and we could even show the map.
And for the discussion guides, or maybe just a suggestion that in the discussion guide, we have like the list of them maybe. And just like a table that says like new or updated, or just
Okay.
like, so it's clear to people.
That's
Cause
good.
there's half of, like, the majority of them don't change.
Yep.
But then,
Okay.
I think good to flag especially the environmental ones and the
Yeah.
freshwater recharge ones, cause.
Okay.
I think that'll be something that certain groups on Bowen will zero in on.
And then I just feel like we don't have a open-ended question here.
So with 19, you're talking about smaller lots outside of Snug Cove. But how big is a small lot? I mean, if somebody's gonna have an acre lot and they're gonna say 4 townhouses on it, they're gonna freak out.
Well, yeah, I think that's what the designation says, and then you'd look at the map and you'd see, okay, that's where the neighborhood residential designation covers.
Well, why have you said smaller lots then?
Yeah.
So it's a new designation that covers ground-oriented residential development on lots outside of Snug Cove.
Well, it's not on all lots.
They're
I
not
don't know.
smaller than the Snug Cove lots.
I guess because they're smaller than the rural lots. Like the areas that are rural residential and rural.
Yeah,
are
no, I know
are
that,
larger,
but
yeah.
why
So on
you-
lots outside of Stone Cove that are smaller than rural lots, I don't know. I'm open for wording.
Melanie has a question.
I know it sounds random. I'm just curious, has there been any discussion within staff or council level of where they think the population might be landing at now? Do you think?
No,
that-
about the census, no. I mean, I know, so BC Stats has done, like, does the updated population estimates for Bowen, which have shown like continued growth since the 2021 census, but I've often thought that they are incorrect because they will look at regional growth and they will assign Bowen a percentage of like immigration-based growth. But because we know on Bowen, it's like there's not as many opportunities to land that regional share of immigration on Bowen without subsequent, like without associated housing development. So I've thought that some of their estimates are probably like optimistic in terms of the number. But I don't know where that translates to the census.
But has there been just any internal chatter about? Has there been populated, like where?
Yeah.
Like, do you think we,
Over +5.
I know our when the last census came out, we were looking at like growth rates potential, and we thought that, okay, we are unlikely to hit
Right.
5,000 in the next census, even if we continued at the rate it was, or like historic rate, all put us lower. Yeah, but you know, at the same time though, we've been having discussions about the big tipping point other than the SMU now is the police
which
tip
happens
over,
at,
which happens at 5,000.
5?
So I believe there's like a reserve fund set up, and there's like ongoing
Yeah.
conversations about, yeah, what would that look like?
If you had to get, what do you think the population is sort of roughly? Just like,
I would guess that we come in below 5,000.
Can I
How much
suggest that
would- yeah.
we get through, we're
Sure.
already getting a bit behind on our agenda.
Okay. So on the survey, then it just, and then it ends with a section 9 about demographics essentially. And like I said, these are the same questions we asked last time. So we didn't change them. They're just the same 4.
Okay.
I know Adam had questions. They have like, should we ask about income levels, or should we ask more information from people to better situate?
We don't like, I don't think we need
Yeah,
to.
okay.
It was just more like sometimes you can like slice
Yeah.
data if you want to look at like who is responding to a particular question, if it's relevant. Like it
Yeah.
can be helpful
Yeah.
sometimes, but like
Mhm.
for continuity and consistency's sake, but sure.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I like that it's a short survey.
Yeah.
You're
That
gonna
was
leave
a
those
big-
questions in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So can I go back to the DP area?
You may.
Okay, so I'm a casual reader. What does new development mean? Does it mean a new house? Does it mean a new subdivision?
I mean, it could mean both. It depends on the guidelines of the DP.
Okay, so then my other question is, so the water conservation area, DP, is only going to be for new developments? Why wouldn't it be for existing, so you could control the water?
Well, by definition, the development can only apply to a development. So what that threshold is, I think would be a conversation.
So
for
everybody that's
council.
already built.
Correct. It would,
Is-
yeah, a water conservation development permit area would say, when you come to build a new dwelling, you need to do it. Or it could say, when you do a new dwelling or a renovation that's over X square feet, you know, that's when you need, what the tipping point is like, happens in the guidelines, but it fundamentally can't require existing people who aren't doing anything to put in, to like, it can't require people who aren't doing any development to get a development permit.
But you can't, that also require them to abide by the 4 categories. So if there's a drought, you can't go in.
Oh, no, that's different. Yes. I mean, if they're on a municipal water
That's-
system,
Yeah,
we
but
can require
half-
that they be metered and that they be
yeah,
fined.
but
and that
half
they
the
have to-
island isn't on a municipal water
Yes.
system, so.
Yeah.
You can't do anything to make them follow the conservation
this
guides,
time.
those 4 steps.
I would just suggest that in the survey, like we, for each of these preambles, for every section, we say like, for more information about development permit areas, please refer to the discussion guide. And just like say that literally every single section. So if somebody is uncertain about what it means, the discussion guide would say exactly what you just said. Like this applies to this development, like, I think it's fine
The
to put
link.
ourselves on that. Okay.
But it's to new subdivisions or somebody who applies for a building permit.
Mhm.
Okay.
Anything more on any other last questions for Daniel on the survey itself? So just to recap, you still have the ability to add some comments or
Yeah.
whatnot on
Yeah,
this?
till Tuesday.
Till the same.
Oh, I thought tomorrow at 3 would be better
Yeah.
for survey, so we could test it.
Well, I was more thinking, I was like, you know,
Everything
yeah,
on
if you
Tuesday.
send it Friday at 3, or you send it Monday at
Oh, same for
midnight,
you.
Right?
Okay.
Okay, well, let me ask a question. do you want any comments? Because if it's for tomorrow at 3, nobody's gonna give you any comments. So either you.
Tuesday, sorry.
I would say, yeah,
Well-
by Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, so we're a little bit behind, but let's see if we can make that up. And so next up is engagement and communications materials. So Ms. Baxter, please take it away.
Okay, we have boards, they arrived, just yesterday, which I can show you. Some of them. See, this is an
Ooh.
example of one. of
Oh,
our
sorry, can
boards.
I preface this?
Yes,
So these
yes.
boards these are the boards, so
These are the
this is for
boards.
information
This is
only.
for information.
Okay, just want to be clear.
We've all commented, this is where we landed. So this is just an example of one of them. Maps, and these are the 4 the land use designation aspects that Daniel was talking about earlier. We've got those listed there. The ones I wanted to show you. I feel like been through these. We ended up using, I think it was in the meeting that we talked about it, we ended up using what we heard and how it's shaped. We have 2 of these. We used all 10 of them. Remember how we sort of had like 4 or 5 and then we couldn't decide? So we have 10 and they're spread over 2 of the boards. So that.
So, and then the idea there was that we would have these back behind each other on one easel.
Yeah.
And then if you got into a conversation with so that we don't have thousands of easels
Yeah.
Yeah,
everywhere.
because this
you
is a
could
lot
pull
of
this out.
boards. Yeah. But at least that way you can show sort of, someone who's interested in transportation mobility. Well, in the draft, we have sustainable transportation policies that support a cross-island multi-use path and safe shoulder and bike routes. Which is helpful.
But
yes.
to the extent that we've got room, why would you not have them
Oh, you
all
could.
up?
You
You
could if
might,
you wanted to.
depending on if
Yeah,
we're
because
tight for
people aren't gonna
space.
ask you to
Yeah.
move. They're not gonna know the other boards behind there. And if they just want to look and not talk,
Mhm.
then
Yeah, it was more a matter, we were like worried that we were getting like thousands of boards and
Yeah.
spaces
If we
that.
have if we have a table of this size at a farmer's market, we're not gonna fit 10
Yeah.
boards around it.
And then it's kind of, if you're talking to somebody who's like, oh, and you're like, what have you heard so far? And you're like, well,
Well,
this
here's.
is what we've heard and this is how we reflected it in the draft.
And there's more.
Yeah. Aren't you
Um,
sorry you asked? Yeah.
Okay, so the interactiveness, these are the sort of about we went with balancing priorities for these. And we have 4 of them. And what people can do, we extended the arrow all the way along. We have one side of the coin, the other side of the coin. We're inviting people to stick a sticker sort of kind of roundabout where they land with each of these, that we're on the scale of, so as an example, here we have small business opportunities versus quiet neighborhoods. So one is, supporting home-based and small neighborhood businesses or prioritizing quiet neighborhoods by limiting business activity in residential areas. Like some people are going to feel very strongly in this direction, others in this direction, others around about here, So we're going to have stickers for people to pop on and sort of get an idea of that. I also remembered that we have a really big map printer at the fire hall. And what I can do is actually print paper versions of the 2 with the stickers. So I think we found last time that the stickers just didn't come off. And so we used them once and then they just they didn't look very good. So I'm going to have I could get a whole bunch of those printed up for those 2. The other sort of interactive stuff is, space for comments on this one, on the draft vision. That will just sort of be post-it notes on that one. I don't think we need a paper version of that. I think the post-it notes will probably peel off quite well. And there's yeah, the DPA's one. There's also a sort of section here for thoughts on that, which again can just be post-it notes. But yeah,
I think the post-it notes is super fun and I think people like to put their notes on.
Yeah.
I found last time when we were doing the consultation, you're taking off these post-it notes and it was always kind of trying to figure out where to put them and to make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
Just as a suggestion, maybe if we had a binder.
I was thinking Ziploc bags. and a binder. So at the end of the,
Yeah.
end of the event, you can just scoop them all up, pop them into a Ziploc bag, and then you could even then bring them to me, I'll hole punch. And we could just have a binder full of Ziploc bags with the comments and then slowly put them all into.
Are you suggesting we put comments from each board on a separate piece of paper?
I hadn't thought that far yet.
'Cause
but
then they're
yes, that
pre-sorted.
would probably, yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, just the idea that then we could label it like the location, the
Yeah,
date,
exactly.
and that way we, and
Yeah.
just
Totally.
having it
Yeah.
all together.
Yeah, exactly.
However that looks like,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. I think probably putting in a Ziploc bag makes more sense.
Well,
because then
it's
they're all
weatherproof and
together.
then they're all together and you can see what's in there and you can write onto the actual Ziploc bag itself.
Yeah.
And bring them back and then we'll figure out how to sort through the data. I need to get easels. We do have some, but they're not very good. Luckily, Amazon is very quick.
If there could be a roll of serious tape or something too, because every time we used the easels last time they blew over. Or
Right.
the
Yeah,
arc blew over.
add that to the equipment list.
We were at the golf course, which is quite exposed.
I-
And it, yeah.
Yes, I know.
And Glenn was there too, and it was just.
Also, I know that sometimes tents are available and sometimes they weren't, but I'm just thinking if we're doing this into
In summer,
June,
yeah.
just having a bit of a little bit of
We definitely
shade.
have a tent. It's like, it's quite hard to put up.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does
I don't know if
Amazon have
Rec
an
has other
easy
tents.
tent?
Yeah.
The
tent.
pop-ups
Yeah.
last time guaranteed rain.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I think also the tents help keep your boards, you can prop up your boards against the tent
Yeah.
foundation, legs as well.
Yeah.
and sometimes I can-
I'll have a look around. Tents.
And you also have on here mail content.
Mail content is yet to be developed. I'm just going to put together it's going to be a simple mail out because there's a lot there. I just want to grab people's attention and send them to the website where they'll find all the information. I'm going to have a few of the boards on the website as well. And just send everybody there, get them to fill out the survey, read the discussion guide, all of that will all be right there. So I'll have a QR code on the mail out as well as the typed version. I'll also have printed versions. Like I'm going to have like sort of desk cards to sort of sit around the community centre. I might ask if we can put them in different places, like maybe at the bank or at the post office, have some sort of desk cards, which are fairly easy for me to produce. And again, just a simple grab, like this is how we're going to engage. And then just handouts as well, to sort of go in the ferry lineup and that sort of thing. Sorry, Daniel.
Oh, I was gonna say, yes, the handout, because I remember last time we went and gave it to all the businesses.
Yeah,
To put
yeah.
up. Some of them didn't, some didn't, but
The handout's the same as the mail out then? Different?
I've just packaged them all together in that little spiel, but yeah, the mail out is going to be a one page. It's going to be fairly simple. It's just going to briefly remind people what the OCP is and that they were, how to get involved. It's not too late to be involved. It's time to engage or re-engage, I guess.
The dates of the
And
engagement?
Dates, yeah, that's the thing.
The
And
mail-out's
QR
great.
codes.
And it'll just
QR
go,
code,
I can do it, it can go into every mailbox on Bowen.
Even the ones that have no junk mail.
Especially those.
So
they
get
get extra. I'm not sure, Alice.
There
Oh,
was a loophole.
they
There was
can
some-
with this,
There's options, aren't there?
yeah,
Yeah, we can
there's-
push it.
yeah, I'm not sure if I can find out.
Yeah. well,
Some
it
notices
depends.
can, some notices can't.
Yeah.
That's the short answer.
Okay, is that it then? Any
That's
questions
it,
for
yeah.
Sarah?
And if we wanted
Any
extra
suggestions?
handouts,
Sorry.
Yes.
and if we wanted extra handouts for community meeting, area meetings.
get
I
them.
can get them for you.
Yeah.
Just give me an hour.
The boards look great.
Yeah.
The boards are great.
Okay, good.
So just one question, I may have missed this. Are there two sets of the boards or just
No,
one?
just one. Just one.
But you're gonna be printing.
Yeah, and I
Printing
can,
paper
and that's the thing,
ones.
like if we have clashes or like times where the turnover is tight and it just makes more sense, we have other boards that are this size. you know, from round one, and that's the thing. I can just print paper versions of each of these and you can still and just tape it to the front.
I mean, I'll say too, I think when we look at the engagement timeline and what we're committing to, if we think that's a challenge, we could just order a second set of boards.
No, that's true. We could do
Right,
that.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could.
There's, last time there were a couple of
there were a couple
occasions.
where it was, yeah.
Okay, so perfect. Next up, let's see, are we on time yet? Oh, no, we're
Almost.
almost. So, which we've already started talking about,
Yeah.
but the equipment and approach for the engagement.
Equipment. I have the equipment list. Where is it?
Are we at 5.4?
Yeah, page
Yeah.
44 on the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm using an HTML version.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to share this, and then if anyone has any suggestions for the equipment. Oops.
So this is essentially this idea that like people would have a checklist. Okay, we're doing engagement. Here's what I'm bringing. Here's
Yeah.
my key information.
Yeah, you get a little
Yeah.
kit, and then when
Yeah.
you're packing up, you can tick everything off the list, and so you know you have it all, and then it's
This
done.
is neat. I don't know what else, but it's good to have a checklist. So
Um,
this is just trying to get
Yeah.
things started based on the last workshop.
I would just,
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Just with boards, maybe mention how many or what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I could have 2 boards, but maybe I need 3.
I think there's 8 of them. Yeah, I'll just put this in brackets.
And like easels.
Yeah.
And
Somewhere
then,
to put the boards.
yeah. Tape and
Yeah, how do you think we should
cables.
transport? That's the thing. I don't want these getting all beaten up.
Do you know,
I don't really have anything.
Well, they all
you
fit in
can
a-
get these large portfolios, like art portfolios, and put them in it.
Yeah.
Oh, with the handle.
Oof, that's a good idea.
Pretty fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just piled them all in the back of the car and wrapped them in a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should add tape to that list.
Yeah.
too.
Tape. Yeah.
Duct tape,
This is why
Gorilla
we're
tape.
doing this.
I'm scarred.
Duct tape for.
Yeah.
some
And then
people.
you need a pair of
Yeah.
scissors. so
Certain
you
members
can
of the
cut it.
public.
Yep.
Big tape.
Do we want,
Or committee members.
do you think we
I
need
it's
hand
very- come
sanitizer
on,
or anything like
Let's
that?
wrap this
Are
up.
we-
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Is there anything else anyone can think of? I'll go through and like see
And
what
it's
I,
like table and tent are like potential, but I don't know if some of them are like optional. Depends where you are and what you're doing for the,
Mhm.
Well, if you're gonna have a binder with the OCP in it
right, yeah.
and
you need
pens and
table,
stuff, you
yeah.
need something to put them on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna suggest we don't do stickers this time. Because
Yeah.
I could not get any of those
We're
stickers.
doing it on paper.
No.
I remember
Oh, off
spending
the
5
actual-
minutes trying to give a kid
yeah,
a sticker.
Oh, off that.
That was like, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know who was there
Quality
at,
control on that one.
at BowFest when those little
Yeah.
kids roasted.
A
those
red pen.
stickers.
Oh, I
Oh, yeah.
remember that.
The
I-
And it's
I-
like, this
I
is at
haven't been
the-
made fun of like that and.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Oh,
gosh.
why?
Oh, yeah, like when
Why?
you said something like, yeah,
I
it's
was
a
just
deer,
saying-
and they're like, yeah, I know it's a deer,
Yeah.
or something like that.
There was the 4 animals of bone and I was like, that's a slug and that's a deer. And they were like, yeah, we know what they are.
And you're in trauma now.
And I was
It's
like,
true, he
It's like, okay.
totally, I think I was there.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
No, it was a zinger.
It's like, yeah, I think I know what a slug is,
Yeah.
thanks,
It's like,
you know?
Maybe you could put like a red
Yeah.
felt.
It's like, who are you
in
anyways?
brackets, so if those
Yeah,
people are
that's-
struggling with this.
These
He's our neighbor.
Yeah, and that's
Dots on the
what
paper
on
instead,
paper.
yeah.
Well,
He'll be mayor in about
But I
25
think both
years.
stickers are
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Stickers are gonna
he's
have
sharp.
them.
You roasted me on that one.
The dots were.
It's like the person
Those
who
were
So-
couldn't leave the multi-use.
They totally-
It was
They
the,
get it.
didn't we had like
So-
stickers for kids and they were.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like
yeah, the
spent
They were hard to
dots.
feel.
We
So-
won't have those.
If I'm understanding correctly, the dots, the sticky dots are not to go on the board itself. You are gonna have a paper version of the
Yeah.
board
Yeah.
and the sticky dots are to go on that.
That's what I'm
So
thinking.
maybe you
Okay.
should have paper version of boards.
Just
Yeah,
to
we
get off
should.
of.
And all you're
Yeah.
gonna do is,
But more thing is like, but
Okay.
Sarah, I think like the first people who use them can use the boards.
no, cause then they don't come on.
Yeah, but then we would put paper on top of it, no?
You think
The
the
paper
first
will be
person
the
or the
same
last
thing.
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
I think it'd be fine.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
It's easier to have the
Okay.
paper, then you've
Okay.
got each.
Okay, I'm-
each
I'm-
It just goes up for the stick.
Time out on this
Yeah.
discussion.
Okay. I think,
Handle
but
this
that's a
offline. We
good,
need
that's
to
a
get
good
through the rest
list.
of the
Thank you.
agenda.
That's a really good list.
Great train.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then the rest was sort of like a capture of the workshop discussion about, and just to anticipate the elevator pitch, conversation about approach and like,
Right, we have that at 5.5.
Well, no, just on the same
sorry,
document.
is that here?
Just sort of like, you're directing everyone to the webpage, you're sending them to the survey, clear, consistent messaging, 3 types of people. That was just kind of, that was
Oh,
a
gotcha,
discussion from
yeah.
the last meeting about how to handle the people who are interacting with you.
Mhm.
Someone's read all the draft, someone hasn't read it at all, but you still want to hear what they're saying, 3
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah. Did anyone have any
I think
comment?
there's gonna be more
That's
of
good.
the latter.
Probably.
Okay, so that's 5.4.
Yeah.
Next up, the elevator pitch. We don't have it. Do we have any
Wait.
elevator?
We're writing
conversation?
one.
Wait.
No, do we have an elevator?
We don't have an elevator.
Oh!
Do we have an
The
elevator?
school.
Oh, does it? Okay, there we go.
It's broken,
And-
it's broken though, it's broken.
Okay.
Oh.
It's your
Ferry.
fairy
So
pitch
on the
when you're
ferry.
sitting beside somebody. in the
Okay,
ferry
there we
line.
go.
And after the groundbreaking on May 29th, the Lookout Birch Building will have.
We'll have an elevator.
as well.
Okay, there we go.
Ah,
Well, after the.
Maybe not immediately.
Okay. Maybe not right away. Okay, so David, your name is attached to this. I don't know if you have given it a lot of thought to what you're saying.
Sarah put up something that I sent her earlier in the conversation. I just grabbed some notes from the presentation that Daniel gave to the Muni. But where this comes from is the idea that at the engagement sessions, we, and quite frankly, our colleagues in the mayor and council really need to be consistent in what we're saying has happened, that these are the big changes. That's the question that I expect that I'm already experiencing. People are
Yeah.
asking is, so you're working on the new draft, what's different? And so there's nothing sacred about these. I just grabbed them as a starting point.
Mm.
But if anybody wants to take a run at any of them or add anything, I'm trying to shut up. You go right ahead.
I think we should have a line just about the process. Just say, you know, here's where we are and this is when it's gonna be
oh,
finalized.
timeline.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And speaking of which, and this is more technical, I'm assuming the answer is yes, but is the intent that this will be adopted by this council?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Is that possible,
Oh,
Mr. Planner?
I would not be optimistic.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think in terms of timeline, right? So if we're closing public engagement June 22nd, right? Realistically, then it is analyzing data, what we heard report, what changes are needed in the bylaw, right? Or what changes are needed in the draft OCP in response to what we heard is sort of like a thing, right? We would have like a table and we say, okay, we heard this, we're changing this is the result. That then comes to council first reading. So is first reading possible in September? You know, based
Can
on
you
that
have all
timeline?
that other stuff done at a committee meeting by the end of July?
Well, that's what, I don't know. So anyways, but that kind of leads towards, yeah, September first reading, at which point there's like required consultation of first reading of the OCP to then go second, third adoption. So,
first reading this council.
yeah.
my question is, where are we with the Islands Trust approval of an OCP in that timeline?
They're required to give approval after first reading.
and the nation?
And that's the
Yeah,
second.
so
consultation.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, yeah, I mean, like in terms of like specifically Squamish, who have been the most engaged with it, right? They had provided feedback. We've reviewed, we sent them the draft actually before, as soon as it went up on the council agenda, we sent to the Squamish Nation, and they're reviewing it. But regardless, I think of that, it's like, we would still be obligated to refer it to them when there's a bylaw that's received first reading, that version gets
Yeah.
referred regardless of any
Yeah.
prior engagement. There's like a list of people that council has to consider consultation with. So in other words, I don't think it's like there's time for a first reading to happen, for that consultation to happen, for a second, a public hearing, a third adoption in this council term.
Yeah, if you do first reading in September,
Yeah,
and then what do you have to allow 30 days for consultation?
45 for Islands Trust.
Oh. I'm just,
Yeah.
and the new council
Just see it.
takes over
Last minute
in,
council.
Okay,
meeting,
so
election
I
night or
now
something.
regret asking the question.
Yeah.
But I will leave that
Yeah.
to our trustee
Mhm.
staff members to sort out with his council. on how that's going to work. I just bring up the question. It seems
Yeah.
like it's really tight.
Yeah.
And as well, whether or not you have fulfilled your duty to consult.
So we have reached out. So do you mean specifically with the First Nations?
With First Nations.
Yes.
I mean, we've heard from Squamish, but you have other
Yeah.
nations that
So
you know.
there is a list of 10 essentially that is on our list. I think we went through one of our very early meetings. So we have at several points reached out to the full list of 10. And most recently, when we first had a draft, whichever version that was, we reached out to the 10 to say, we are nearing completion of a draft OCP that's updated. Please let us know if you would like to be involved in the consultation of this. Do you have any, comments? We're happy to meet with you. Yeah, and like I said, I've been engaged with the Squamish and have not received a response from any of the other 9. So when we come to 5.7 interest holder list, I think it's like that there will be another engagement point with all 10 for this engagement period, and there will be again with a bylaw. At that point, again, there will be a engagement with all 10.
Okay.
So we'll consistently do that throughout every step that we are engaging with all 10 First Nations groups who have Bowen Island within their traditional territory.
Okay. So we maybe, our intent around timeline will be that is the known part of when we
Yeah.
think we will have another, what we'll deal with their comments, how we'll get that to a draft.
Yeah.
We may not know anything about it going for bylaw.
I think that's fair. It's saying we're coming out for phase 2 engagement. We want to hear what you think. We have a draft, but we know it's not perfect. So we'd love to hear from you. And then with that, we'll then have a document that proposes changes to the draft based on what we've heard. And that's what goes to council for bylaw reading.
Right.
So on that timeline issue, have any of these drafts gone to the Islands Trust staff for initial review? Because I'm thinking at this point that might be good, because if there's any issues, we can deal with them.
Yeah, so that again would be 5.7, I think. So I have asked Islands Trust staff at various points about specific policies, and
Yeah.
partly at times questions around Islands Trust policy statements and their timing versus our timing and how we're complying and whatever else it may be.
Well, that's the other advantage of getting it done this term. Is
Mhm.
they're dealing with the old policy statement.
But I think for the pitch, we're gonna
Yeah.
need to have our initial timing laid out so that we can say to people, we're doing engagement for the next 3 weeks, and then the next draft is built and approximately choose a number of weeks after that, we get it back. Again, so we can give a consistent presentation. Can we take a stab at? Have we identified when engagement is gonna close?
June 22nd.
June 22nd, okay.
I mean, we can just be expected completion or expected adoption in the fall.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I don't think we need.
Or it moves to that stage in the fall.
Yeah.
To the adoption stage.
Finalize an adoption in the fall.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't think we need to box ourselves in.
Okay.
Okay.
Are there other core principles or points that anybody sees that they want to add to that, or anything you want to take out? Sorry, I could have circulated this earlier.
I have a question. It came up here and also in the survey, the embraces nature needs help. Do you think people know that we already do that? I mean, I don't want it to feel like it's something new and threatening.
I mean, I guess it's there's been a history on Bowen and rezonings that see large park dedications, and then there has been a policy adopted by council that at time of rezoning, council considers something.
I'm just wondering if the language should be more, I don't know, assuming that we'll continue to, or,
Okay.
Affirms.
Yeah. That
it
works.
was
It's like a
also
firm.
under the housing for all. It just sounded like it was something brand new, and I
Right.
thought the wording could somehow,
When I'd say it's new in the OCP, but
okay.
that's why.
I've asked,
Yeah.
it's a question for
Yeah.
me that I'm still a little unclear on is like at what level that is applied.
Mhm.
Like if somebody had a lot that they're trying to break into two smaller lots, would that apply to like that? Is it everything?
I mean, we
Is it
talk-
of
yeah.
lots of a certain
Yeah.
size? Like, I'm just unsure of like, and I think to clarify that would be helpful, because if you
Yeah.
were, talking about your own property, you might be like, well, that's like 50%.
I know we talked about it even the last meeting, Dave,
Yeah.
that like, okay, in the neighborhood residential, it says, well, you could rezone to be a townhouse. And then like, is the expectation in that rezoning that half the lot is protected on your, whatever it may be, it's a half-acre lot and it's gonna be a fourplex and it's gonna be a septic field. Is the expectation that half of that is protected when it's like, well, then it's not really feasible to do the townhouse. It sort of cuts against itself. I mean, I think at this point, I just say, well, that's something we flagged for like refinement.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought with neighborhood, you could have a townhouse on 4, and that's the way it's worded.
You could, council could consider rezonings for townhouses.
Well, if the land use bylaw has to be changed, I think the new provincial rules say to match the zoning in the OCP, then there's no rezoning. You just go and do it.
No, the province says you have to, the land use bylaw has to enshrine that number of units that your housing needs report.
So if
requires.
somebody wants to build a duplex, they still have to
They
rezone.
still have to rezone, but now there'd be support in the OCP for that rezoning in the neighborhood residential.
You just have to
The
be
vision
able
in the
to-
OCPSC, but you still have to go through the rezoning
Ah,
process.
okay.
Can I bring us
Yeah.
back to keep this going?
Mm.
Is that it, David? Then I think, yeah. So again, probably if you have any additional comments to put that in our task list for folks by Tuesday, I guess,
Okay.
same thing?
Tuesday, the big
Was it
day.
Tuesday? Yeah.
Good thing it's a long weekend.
Yeah. So that brings us up to 5.6, if I am correct. So the review and sign up for the engagement
Oh.
event, Sarah.
Okay. Where are we?
So we're not gonna do looking at this list, a community, presentation and,
No, that's item 5.8.
So
On the agenda package. cover
but
page.
it's not on this list.
No, it's not on that list.
I
It
put it
is,
in
it's just not
as
dated.
World Cafe. It's right down the bottom. I just didn't have a date.
Oh, okay.
But why would that not be done at the beginning to introduce the community to the whole plan?
Well, that's,
'Cause
I
the
think, what we're here to discuss.
Yes.
Could be.
That's the last
Giving you
time not
tables
doing
and
that.
Discussion.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are well aware and there've been conversations.
Yeah. So this is May and June. And I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what everybody's appetite is for attending all these events, because I can have all of the materials and hacks and tents and tables, but we need to have people actually there. And so this is the list I have. There's the farmers market. I've been in contact with farmers market and told them that we're going to be coming. I just haven't concreted in any dates. I did the same with the makers market. I don't know. I saw that someone posted about that. That's like it's kind of like the farmers market, but it's a crafty one. And I think it's held on the Sunday of the weekend instead of the Saturday of the weekend. Sort of down by Tippy's on the lawn there, Ferry lineup is on there. There's the open house with Judy Getty. Alison, did you mention that you'd done that last? Did you do like a pop-up at one of Judy Getty's?
No, I've never been to one.
Betty
I
did.
Betty did, right. Yeah, so I kept that on list. Was that was okay?
Yeah, if she's still doing it.
If she's still, yeah, I think she is. And I haven't approached her either. I just put it on the list. We have Bowen Island Pride. We have the ferry lineup. We have the fire department.
So
There's an
June
open
2nd, I
house.
don't think is there really a farmer's market on a Tuesday?
Oh, have I got it?
Yeah, so is that
It's
the
a Tuesday.
Which
farmer?
day?
Farmer's market, May 30th, 31st.
Wait.
You
hang
must
on.
mean June 6th, I think.
So I mean June.
And so they're
6th.
both Saturday and Sunday now? I know something.
No,
changed.
there's a makers market. The farmers market.
Oh, it's a makers market.
Makers market.
I'm sorry.
Oh, why it
reading
says
wrong.
farmer's market on my
And then
list.
June 2nd, farmers market.
Hang on a sec. Let me look. What have I done? Farmers
No
market
makers market.
on the 23rd. Yeah, that's not correct. It should be the,
That's a Saturday, right? So the 22nd is a
Saturdays,
Friday,
23rd and the 30th. are the
and 23rd
correct
is
days.
Saturday.
May I make a suggestion that maybe this is like an Excel table that lives in the SharePoint?
Yeah.
And we can
it
just.
should be 20.
Fill in our name.
We can go back and populate.
June 2nd is a Tuesday.
Yeah, I've got my
Yeah.
dates all mixed up somehow.
Is there?
I might have been in May.
I asked
was.
about this previously, but like, is there any other BIM support beyond you two gentlemen? Like from staff?
No, is the short answer.
And when you, in it, like,
We took your request to
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
people and that was the response.
Okay.
The first is a weekend.
Okay, so
Yeah, the
it-
counselors going though. I think some of the other counselors,
23rd and 24th is right.
yeah,
Well, I guess the question is how knowledgeable are they about anything that's going on?
we have their discussion guide in the
Oh.
open.
Okay, so I think I fixed those dates. Sorry, I think I might have, my calendar must have slipped back to May when I was looking, I thought I was looking at June.
so the intent, I mean, is the intent here to finalize this list? Or is it-
Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
So the same
Um,
thing, we put it in the SharePoint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
And,
Yeah.
and people sign up.
You put me
Um,
down for fairy lineup.
Yeah, I'm also.
What
very
happens
lined
when this doesn't get completely filled up?
well, then I
then-
think we don't do events.
And do, for the art tour, do it as two separate days?
Yeah, we can do that.
Could I also add Bowen Island Waste lineup? I did that last time.
Mhm.
That's
That was a
right.
good one.
And
Neither was one I was
yeah, and
missing.
I'm happy to do that.
And I know last time we did stuff like in Village Square
Connections of-
and outside the general store. I don't know if things like that are, yeah, do people find them? I know sometimes we found more success on things that were like, oh, these are events where people are. It's a
Yeah.
good opportunity to capture people.
Yeah.
I would say
It's good for information. I don't
It
think
was
you're not
fine.
getting, you wouldn't gain much comments.
you're between people and their groceries.
Yeah.
And their dinner. So you
Yeah,
kind of,
the garbage is okay, but.
And they're in a
Yeah.
different-
yeah, they're waiting. They have no, but
Like Bowen Island Waste, you're lining up anyways.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing with the ferry.
unless like late, I've been like
Cruising in.
cruising in for the last, I
You
don't know how many
going?
times. So I don't know.
He's not
So
gonna
pick a
tell
good
you.
time.
That's retired lifestyle.
Well, it's really hard to tell which, sometimes
When
it's a
is the
lineup,
Bowen Library
sometimes there
book
isn't.
sale? That's always a
Oh.
I
big
think
one.
that was.
They've just had
in-
one.
I think it just happened. It was on the list and then because we kept sort of having to move and this list kind of got a bit, was getting
Yeah.
shorter and shorter. Not a huge amount, I don't think, happens in late May, early
Because I'll
June
say like,
on
yeah,
that.
I spent several times at the library, like in their stage, and I found it not super,
Yeah, unless there's
Useful.
something else. from
unless there's
people
something
there.
else going on, it wasn't.
you
And
get
same
more
with in
tourists there.
Artisan Square, same thing. I had better success just going to the stores in Artisan Square individually and giving them the poster and haranguing them to fill it, the survey than I did in the
I can
open
also do
space.
ferry lineup too. Who's in charge of putting up the notices like on the ferry or in like near the mailboxes in all the different neighborhoods?
Yeah, that was the thing.
Ferry, we have someone who does that. I can get that organized. As far as like the neighborhood notice boards goes, do we have someone? I'm on Whiteside. Do we have someone sort of in each
Do you have a list of them all?
neighborhood?
Like I could certainly do it in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like I could
thinking.
do Tunstall and Bowen Bay and Blue Water.
Oh, she lives in Tunstall.
Well, I'm in Tunstall as well, so I
Oh,
can do
okay.
I can do White Sales.
Right.
I
could
could-
do
Well, I'll
we
do
could
the-
figure out the west side.
I'll
couldn't
do
we?
the South Bowen mailbox
can do
and the
the
one
South.
on Adams Road on the
And we
way.
put that on that.
Like that
So
would be a
maybe-
good thing just to divvy up.
Some of
as
them
who's
don't
first
have
name.
any place where you can put them.
I guess-
Some of them.
Yeah, so whenever you do. have
Like
this-
Adams Road doesn't have one.
How about one of those sky days at Windy Center?
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Oh, and the
The
Mondays?
Yeah.
chick guys,
That are
fit
Mondays.
Oh, the
guys.
fit guys.
Fit
That's a really good
guys.
idea too.
One of those, because they
Yeah.
seem to be interested.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, we put this in the SharePoint, then we're looking for, yeah, people to sign up for dates and and suggestions for, things we could do if they're either events or it's, open-ended things where it's like, oh, ferry lineup, going waste lineup can happen
Yeah.
at some point during the engagement period.
Well, what about just having the boards up and display in the living room?
Yeah, we did that last time when they weren't in use, and that's also what the one page, like, if we end up like a poster size thing that's at the front desk or something, it's like anybody coming in can see like, oh,
Yeah.
they'll love this thing.
But like the fit guys always have coffee afterwards, so it would be better if the boards were up and they could have a
We
look
have the
at it.
paper versions we
Yeah, I
can
mean,
put
you have
out.
paper
Yeah.
versions too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Melanie had,
What's the expectation for the World Cafe?
we're gonna talk
That's the
about that
next
in a second.
topic. So signups by Tuesday at
Mm.
9 AM.
I mean, yeah, some of it, it's like, oh, you can sign up as you go for some, but some of them, it's like, if we want to go to the farmer's market, we need to tell them we're coming. We need to
We
book a
need to know,
time.
yeah.
If we want to go to, certain things we haven't wanted to like reach out and tell people, oh, we're gonna come. If there's
Yeah.
nobody who's gonna come. Or, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where things are on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just, if you sign up for as many things as you can, I haven't put the timings in there. Yeah.
I'm
Fire
gonna,
department having an open house? this
Yes.
year? Okay.
and was there skate day? Is that,
Yeah, right there. May
I no,
24th.
no,
Oh.
did we have
I think
success with that?
it got rained out, didn't
Yeah.
I
it?
was gonna
Last
say,
year it
it's
got
gonna rain,
rained out.
nobody will show up.
Yeah. It got
Where,
rained
where
out.
Anyway,
was skate
I
day?
do,
They are
I look
still
at this
running it.
list and I,
Oh,
I just wonder if we're gonna have enough volunteers for
Well,
everything.
that's, yeah.
So,
was it the satellite fire hall?
Yeah.
Last
But I don't
year.
know if they're doing it. at the
They've
new
done
fire
stuff at
hall.
IPS.
I think it's at IPS
Is
now,
that-
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Rec is still running it, so I
Yeah.
think it must have some success.
okay. Can I make a recommendation? Are
Yeah.
we done on this one yet?
We
Ben?
can be,
Okay.
yeah.
I'd like us to move to 5.8 and then we'll then go back to 5.7. Is that okay, Xerxes?
Yeah.
This way, just we have this up here.
Oh, did you want to leave it up?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, that was. That's what I'm doing. And this is the open house panel and World Cafe. We've had some conversations about this, you'll remember. The first thing I'd like to talk about though was the timing. So when? And
Oh, we don't have a date?
we don't have a date yet. But Allison said or correct me if I'm wrong, that this should happen sort of at the very beginning. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole community's invited to come and do something in the theater and
The flip side to that might be the very end or near the end, so that either people who have started to engage with the materials might then show up and say, I have some questions that I'd like to raise or something like that.
but this way everybody hears the same story about the OCP in the same presentation.
Perhaps, I'm just
Yeah.
suggesting that you could, I think kind of at either end might be and Kirsten, you have an opinion?
I was gonna suggest that it be towards the end, because I think if there's any sticky points in the
Yeah.
OCP, the purpose of the World Cafe, it's not about raising awareness, it's about dialogue and jumping into it. So it's more towards the
Oh.
end. We're gonna have an indication if there's any sticky points of the OCP. But I would not do it at the very end, because I would almost invite the undercurrent to report on it, so that it's just one more week, like,
Yeah,
this is
Yeah.
what happened at the World Cafe, here's the hot item.
you
By the
still
way,
have some time.
everybody,
Yeah,
you got one more week.
got it.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
it
My,
needs to, people need to have another or more time to do
Yeah.
the survey if they haven't already.
Yeah.
to
I guess
Provide feedback. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
my thought was more for the beginning was the basis that
Yeah, it's
it's a huge document to wade through. Whereas so I don't think there's a lot of the community that's going to wade through it in detail. But to have a presentation for an hour, which picks up on the significant things that have changed, then you might get a turnout for that.
But the World Cafe is more dialogue.
Oh, my husband will not come to a World Cafe.
He's in Fit
And
Guys,
that's
so
okay.
it's fine. He was just here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got you in there.
I think the purpose, the World Cafe, the purpose is dialogue, and the whole purpose of a World
I
Cafe
have no
is that there's.
I'm happy with dialogue in the World Cafe at the end.
Yeah.
I'm trying to educate the person that is not going to read through
Yeah.
this thing, but they would come to a
Right.
presentation for an hour.
But
I
think
feel like
there's
that's a
enough
pretty
online
small
material.
subset of somebody who says, I don't I'm not gonna read the document because I don't want to go to that, but I'll come and sit for a presentation on it. I feel
Most
like,
people don't want to leave.
Okay.
like if you want to come, like, if you want to come, I want to come talk about it because I'm really interested in it.
Mhm.
Or, well, I don't want to, I'm just gonna like, but I'll do a quick survey, or I'll look at a flyer, or I'll hear highlights.
You could
that's
do an
what I do.
open house on
Yeah.
Zoom.
Just have, maybe we could put a question in the survey about, did you read the whole document?
So, so I'm not sure if, are we, I got a sense that people liked Kirsten's suggestion.
Oh, I have no problem with the World
Okay.
Cafe being at the end.
Yeah.
No,
When is it
or-
But
closed?
it's,
Near the
but a
end.
separate.
June 22nd.
Yeah.
June 22nd, so like either the week June 8 to 12, or like early in the week 15 to 19.
And I would also suggest doing it like on a Thursday, let's say, not over the weekend, because
Mm.
people are taking off and
Yeah.
doing things
Yeah,
as we
it's
get
already
to the
June.
warmer months.
Yeah.
I would do it like on,
Evening.
like a Thursday is good, or a Tuesday, something that's.
Well, if you want to pick up the off-island people, Thursday night is a good one because they come on
Okay.
Thursdays.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I just have to go park my car in the ferry liner. and I'll be back.
Okay. Did you have McElhaney on holiday or away in one of those times, or will they be coming?
They were away like the 6th, I think, 7th weekend, but
So we think like June 11th is a Thursday.
June 11th.
That gives people another week and a half to tell their friends how amazing the cafe was and get them to fill out the survey.
And
What's
hopefully
that?
people would maybe fill out the survey directly after the event or at.
It
So,
could be, yeah.
but like, so June 11th, maybe then they got like a week and a half
Yeah.
for more buzz for a final
Yeah.
push.
Sure.
Does
I
that
would
work?
anticipate most people come have already filled out the survey, but
Okay.
I don't know. But it's trying to have.
Well, if it's listed
dialogue
on the
it.
list of events, they might wait.
It also gives
Yeah,
more time
yeah.
to read the document, you know,
Yeah.
like I think the more lead time we can give it, people can plan around it. If
Mhm.
that's something that's important to them, gives them more time to read the draft.
Mhm.
The discussion
idea.
guide. Like it also like, logistically, they're fairly intensive. Like we'll need a facilitator per table, we'll need a note taker per table.
Mhm.
We'll need to like, I mean, I see McElhaney supporting this,
Mhm.
but like there'll be more planning for that required
Yeah.
than our other events.
Yes.
Can you put like a Thursday in front of, like,
I'm sorry?
nothing?
Is Thursday available in the theater?
Okay,
I'll have to
let's,
check.
so we
I'll send
we have
some.
sort of a general timeframe that we like, and so we'll need to think about and whether or not it's available. Let's just talk a little bit about format and how that would unfold. So if I recall, we talked about this before. It was like boards would be up, people can wander around, and it's kind of that open house style first.
In that living room area?
Yeah, in the living room.
Okay.
And then what I'm not clear on is it then come in for a presentation? Like there logistically, this could be weird. So the theater would be a better place for a presentation, but then you want people to go back and have a World Cafe. So either the presentation is just at tables in a World Cafe in the living room.
Well,
Is that fine?
the seats were trapped in the theater. So I think what we
Oh,
did,
we'd use the theater for the
that's what we
World
did for
Cafe.
the business
Yeah.
summit. Then there's a
Oh,
presentation in
gotcha.
front and then,
Oh, I wasn't even thinking that. Okay, that makes sense.
That worked really well. That was a really
Yeah.
good, that was a
Mhm.
really good way of
Oh, okay.
using the
Yeah.
space. It was a big screen. I thought that was really
Yeah,
well done.
we did that with the circular economy.
Oh, okay.
And it worked out really well.
Okay. That sounds like a good way of doing it.
Mhm.
you have a different approach.
No. I was just gonna say then, like, in terms of like, the format, like, I would assume that there's a table for each of the areas of focus.
Or
The
tables.
facilitator is probably somebody from those subcommittees, and then there's a note taker.
Mm.
It's like speed dating where
Yeah.
we rotate through. Um,
And is there a presentation first, like to set the stage for it? No presentation.
no, I think you would have like prompting questions that you would just like they would have presumably sat through the presentation.
Oh, sorry, this was,
There
I was
is-
asking, there is a presentation then?
I don't know.
I mean, at the very least, there's like a facilitator
Yeah, Kirsten's.
thing, I guess, right? To
Yeah,
say.
she left the room.
Yeah, I know.
Here's what
She's,
we're
Kirsten's
doing.
gonna do it.
Cafe.
She's not
Oh,
here.
she'll run it.
Yeah.
She left the room.
Well, we can
She's
come back
signed
to
up.
that, but
Yeah.
let me, help me understand. So we have some time where people can just wander around and look at boards. Then we gather folks. And then is that a presentation or is that just more a welcome facilitation thing? Here's how this is going to unfold. Or is there an actual presentation, like a Daniel presentation to take you through what, like a lot of this stuff?
Well, how long we can have it for? Is it a 2-hour event?
Probably 3.
3? That's a lot of.
That's
time.
right.
That's a
Food.
while.
Yeah, maybe 2, I don't know.
I think when.
Please don't say the word catering. Don't say this
A
C word.
2-hour event
Well, I
in
was
the
thinking about
evening is
also a
all that
string
people
quartet
would be
Oh,
at
able
the
to cope
beginning,
with.
just to warm.
harpist.
Yeah.
2-hour, like.
Yeah.
So-
7
so
o'clock to
15
9
minutes.
o'clock.
Why don't we say a
Hour and a half.
15-minute presentation then?
Yeah, like overview.
An overview.
Is it a Q&A?
You got voluntold.
Okay,
I would know, like.
glad you're back.
I would say not an open general Q&A.
Yeah.
I would say if you have questions, bring them to your respective tables.
Okay,
Yeah.
And if it's something like more
We're talking
specific,
about that.
find Daniel. Or like,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
you're mad, go and talk to
if it's a
Daniel.
nasty, yeah. But like in that sort of, I don't know if you want to invite questions in a
Right.
broad.
because then it becomes, it could, if
Then it
someone's
be-
got an agenda,
Yeah.
it could turn into.
The filibustering
It
happens.
Yeah.
happened to me as a very young planner.
Aw.
In a small gymnasium at Cultus Lake a long time ago, but it was horrible.
Oh.
So I would say it's not good. Cause you can kind of get like a mob mentality,
Oh, yeah.
and people pile on and blah, blah, blah. So I would not recommend broad, general question asking.
So the tables for each topic area and then another table for the DPAs and land use table? Or
That would make sense.
just one table
Yeah.
for all that stuff?
One table for each.
So
One table
each.
for each.
this
Okay.
isn't the World Cafe, this
Yeah.
is something else?
This is the
Well,
World
no,
Cup.
it's the
Yeah.
Oh, it is the World
Yeah.
Cafe.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Okay.
And you're facilitating.
all
No,
agree,
I mean, I
Would
think,
you?
would I facilitate?
Yeah.
I could, I could for sure. I think it's all about, at the end of the day, what outcomes do you
Yeah.
want to have? And, you know, World Cafe, like your typical World Cafe, you're exploring maybe 4 questions, 3 questions, 4 questions. And you want to set it up with tables of, you know, 6 to 8 people per table. You don't want it too big. So it would be one of those things that people would need to register for the World Cafe. Some people get in, some people may not. And we're crafting the questions that we want people to really talk about and then give that output. So, you know, you may then pick your 4 themes that, you know, where we really need help in hearing from the community. We don't want to hear everything, you know, we're not putting everything on the table for everybody to comment on. That's the purpose of the survey. That's the purpose for all the interactions. What the dialogue is about is, you know what, at the end of the day, there's these 4 really sticky things that we're hearing lots of different things from the community. And we're looking for more of a deep dive and a dialogue. And so it works, you know, here's question 1. And everybody, of course, is kind of considering those questions, having a discussion. I personally am a I'm a fan, as Steph knows, and Sarah too, of Slido.
Is that typical?
Because then you can report out and everybody can see what the comments are coming from the room.
Right.
And then the facilitator can then just kind of tease out these sorts of things. And then you kind of move on to question number 2. But to actually doing, instead of people standing up and reporting out, which is very time consuming and people really don't pay attention. I think using Slido, I know we use something else, but I actually think Slido is better.
Yeah.
Use
Personally.
Menti.
Yeah, I think Slido is much better because you can actually see what's being reported out. And then you could even at the end, if you wanted to, say, if there's something that wasn't said or something that you feel really strongly that you saw and that you haven't had space to share, then there's a comment form at the back of the room. Feel free to fill it out or go online and fill it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you just have to figure out really what are the 4 questions or 3 questions. It could also be 3. But you know, you do a presentation, as you know, with World Cafe, you do a presentation, talk about the 3 questions, dialogue, reporting out. And then you could even at the end, have a short report that the facilitator can then give the municipality.
Do you mean that there would be 3 questions only for the entire thing?
Yeah.
And not area focus specific?
No, that like, cause again, and it could be at the end of the day, we don't want really a World Cafe. Maybe that's not what we're looking for. Like, if we want to have a dialogue or if we want to bring the community together around the OCP, there's lots of different engagements you can do. But I'm just saying, like, the World Cafe concept is about dialogue, and you're kind of stuck with something and you're kind of creating a conversation, mining the wisdom of the group to then report out. And maybe you'll have a breakthrough in some sort of visioning, or you'll come up with a really great solution, but it's coming to solutions through dialogue. It's not information sharing and we want to hear your comments, you
No,
know?
I understand that part, yeah.
But is it more, but I was thinking we were wanting input for people to sit at a table and discuss a particular topic area rather than everybody discussing. If you're interested in environment, then you can go and sit at that table and talk about those policies. If you're interested in housing, you can go sit at that table and talk about those policies.
Well, then maybe you're running concurrent different World Cafes.
Or maybe it's,
This is
from what you just said around World Cafe and what your outcome is, I don't think that's the kind of outcome that we're looking for, right? Because we're not getting people to vision at the like maybe if we did that a year ago.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is a World Cafe really what you
Yeah,
want? Like what,
but
it's almost like what outcome do we want? What information do we want? And then let's step back to say, well, what does the engagement look like?
Right.
Rather than
Without-
starting with the engagement.
without knowing what to call it. What I'm imagining is some groups of tables, almost probably like our focus areas of like, I'm interested in housing. And so there could be,
Do these
maybe it's
policies-
more like speed dating where
Yeah.
you have that facilitator saying, so we're going to talk about housing and how this draft OCP is approaching it with these kind of policies. And so we just want to hear from folks on what are their thoughts around this, what you like, almost like a bit of a survey, what you like, what you don't like, what do you think we should have included?
Mhm.
And so then the note taker is taking notes around what we're hearing and the facilitator saying, so Kirsten, tell me more about what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And then Betty, do you agree with it? You know, like, so a bit of a, sort of like allowing the conversation to happen around the policies in the document.
But you don't
So-
want everybody to comment on each policy area in all their tables because you'd be there forever.
No, and that's why it's kind of just
Like,
one per.
Send them to the survey.
Well,
yes.
yeah, at that, but this is more
I-
to see where the conversation is going and people learning and.
So I'm going to side with Adam. So, and I'll say like, in terms of my background, for many years, I did public consultations on building telecommunication towers in residential neighborhoods. So you want to talk about,
Pitchforks.
you want to talk about carefully orchestrating a dialogue so things don't get very offside very quickly.
Yeah.
In fact, before I moved to Bowen Island, Roger said, so what do you think about, we have 3 years, we'd like to build telecommunication towers on Bowen. And they didn't like my response because I said, you need to do a consultation where Bowen Island shows you where you can build those telecommunication towers on Bowen Island. So you're gonna have to reverse engineer it. But anyways, that's another story. I think there may be, there's sometimes some people who do show up where the intent is great, let's all have a conversation, but you do open yourself up to one person's coming in to either dominate the conversation, or there's an agenda, or they want to make a point and there's no dialogue happening. So I think you just have to carefully consider how are you setting up to support dialogue and not to support conflict.
I think what Jim described makes sense, is like, we want the same sort of feedback as we're asking for in the survey. And
Okay.
like
Yeah.
putting a box around it to be like policies or content of the OCP. So like, are there policies missing from the housing section that should be considered?
Yeah.
Is there a policy in the draft that you have feedback, like, really limiting it?
So again, I think it's all to do with the design.
Yeah,
But
totally.
like, say you open it up and it's like, oh my gosh, 80% of people just want to talk about housing. 10% of people want to talk about transportation. And then all of a sudden, oh, we didn't know that so many people are going to be showing up to that. And then, so it's all about designing the engagement, just taking a step back and think, okay, what outcome do we want to achieve? What specific information do we want? And then just designing the dialogue so that you're setting yourself up for success.
So if we had a table for each policy area,
Again, I'll go, what outcome do we want?
we want
Feedback on the policies.
Yeah.
on those
Content of the
policies
OCP.
in each area.
That
David's
we're
trying
not
to
already
get in
getting
here.
already.
Go ahead, David.
Well, I
the
just
survey.
think we're correctly, but I think we're changing the kind of occasion it is. Where we might have somebody speak at the beginning saying, welcome, here's the various information, the different tables, that sort of thing. And we don't, if somebody's only interested in housing, we don't want them to sit through all the other stuff.
Mhm.
And so maybe we're just doing it in the living room with somebody standing up and talking at the beginning. Be simpler.
And again, I'll just go, we want to hear from people in a different way than what we're hearing online? Or is it that we want to give people an opportunity to chat and interact with one another?
I think that's some of it. It's like,
I'm gonna call a stop on this one
Yeah,
because we're
'cause you
not,
could
we're
go
not
on,
gonna,
yeah.
we're not gonna finish it. But we do have a little bit more time on this one. Unless we have to announce the date and what it is.
If we're doing it here, we will need to book the space.
Okay, well, we could book a
So we
space,
got the
but we
date.
could do
space in the
that.
elements.
But the actual format, this does
Yeah.
require more conversation. So I have two ideas. One, that we just form a little subgroup that can nail it down.
Mm.
Or we have one more, I think I saw another
We're
meeting on your
proposing a meeting
proposing. I know
for
you're
next
killing me.
week. It's just go
I know.
time now.
So will we be able to see the answers to the survey as it goes along?
No, probably not.
So I'm thinking that if there's some contentious areas that pop up early, then those would be topics.
We can,
Oh,
Daniel
what
can see
we
them.
will
Yeah.
be able to see. Yeah, and then I'm like, I don't know, because I guess that might help drive like what we want to focus conversation on. Like I'm hesitant, then it's like, well, we can't go into like then change. No, I don't know, data we're collecting based on or something. We could go.
No, we can't
like-
change the survey.
Yeah.
But
But you will
But it-
know
but it
where
could
the
influence
survey
that, yeah.
questions are coming up.
Yeah, it's true, because then for that meeting, we would be able to say, we've heard lots of people have discussion on this item. Let's make sure
Okay,
we
sorry.
have a prompting question. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get sucked into this conversation again.
Yeah.
So are we either gonna
It'll be
bring
on
this
next
back
week's
next
agenda.
week or a subgroup to sort of deal with that?
Subgroup to bring it back for next week.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of ask.
There's a lot going on in the next
Yeah.
week. I think we should just
Yeah.
leave
Yeah,
it to
one or
next
the other.
week.
Just leave it to next week?
Okay.
Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving you 2 minutes, Xerxes. You think you could do that?
Be in front of a microphone step, so I can hear, or can you hear from? where I
You're
am?
fine there. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so, I'm gonna just be sure, the interest holders list is, from the previous round of engagement, it's been updated a little bit, just for contacts and, contact leads, we'll send them a letter,
Can you
with
unshare
the
that,
link to the
Alf?
draft OCP, and just asking them,
Sarah.
this is what's new, this is what, and that they have, what's missing, what's missing, and we're looking for their, expertise in policy, to see like what can be refined, and we'll give them, we're same till the end of the engagement period, just June 22nd to get the respond.
So that would go out like right at the beginning of the process.
Yeah.
Is that typical, the amount of time that you would need from agencies?
A month,
Will they do it?
maybe. I think it's about consistent with what we did the last round, although that was actually after. I think last time we did it after the end of phase one, right? We sent the letter to interest holders and got responses back from people.
A month, like more than we get or I get.
Yeah.
So
Okay. That's okay, okay.
like the grade is 2 weeks for me. So
Okay.
like a month.
Okay.
So if we got comments on changes of the contact names and stuff, like Tamara Olson, I don't think is still at BC Ferries.
Do we want to put this on the SharePoint?
Person. Yeah.
Yeah, we can put in SharePoint the action for after this, so people can debate, or yeah, like we went through and we're like, oh, there's some groups that weren't on here that we think maybe should be included in. We can just reach out.
Betty?
I think it'd probably be polite also to pull the names of the people who participated in the early consultation and make sure they get letters to come
That's a-
back and
yeah.
see what we did.
That's a great idea.
I was thinking that, and
Isn't
even,
it?
I know it's more work 60s, but it's
They're not
like the
in.
people who sent us letters last time.
Yeah.
We would be sending them and saying like, thank you for sending us this, and
Mm.
you know, earlier, here's now the draft if you want.
I think it'd be
any further.
great. That's a nice.
Like,
direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not our, like, we, obviously, everybody's on that sort of municipal list that following OCP. These are people who specifically wrote a letter
Yeah.
as opposed to, okay, gotcha.
Or
Yeah,
showed
or
up.
like organizations, and it's sort of the idea that like, oh, if you're the, you know, I'll use the example, if you're the conservancy, it's like, well, their members can fill out the survey, but they send us big, you know, documents on stuff, and then it's like, okay, we're offering,
Yeah.
tell us what you think on it in a more formal way, that we'd all try to incorporate that all into our what we heard feedback.
Are all the ones we're required to by legislation on here?
Should be.
We'll double check.
Well, I mean, we talked about First Nations.
Yes, they're not listed, but they will get a similar but different letter.
So this will be updated, so we have a sense of that, et cetera. We'll need to finalize that. Anything further? Any questions for Xerxes? Okay, so that takes us to new business. Any new business? You say no. Thank you very much. Action items.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, perfect timing. Okay, you ready? I think you know there's only one key date in this. For the discussion guide, or Sarah's gonna repost the new draft onto SharePoint. And please upload your section subcommittees by
Tuesday.
May 19th at 9:00 AM. I gotta change date. Regarding the survey, if you have any wordsmithy things, please don't, but if you do, send them on the SharePoint or to Daniel by Tuesday, 9:00 AM. One of those is about guiding principles. Okay, the elevator pitch comments to
David's
SharePoint.
document. yeah,
David,
SharePoint.
to SharePoint, okay.
Should I put it? Yeah, I'll pop it in there.
Okay, pop-up board sign up to this sign up sheet that will be on SharePoint by Tuesday at 9:00 AM. And Sarah, we'll talk to staff about posting posters on the ferry boards and be ready to post in the neighborhood. That's probably not until next week.
Nope.
And the interest holder list, update that.
Okay,
And then are we available to meet next Thursday at 11:30? Just a big group and all this great work. And get ready for the launch the next
The
day.
launch is the next day, right?
That's why we'd put it as a, I mean, we put question mark, but then we're like, we think it would, you know, be good to then have
Should we
another
try to
check-in
make
to say
it
like, here we
earlier?
are, we're ready. or
I'm
not to
available.
go. But-
You want to make it earlier? I think we were trying to go around
And
people's
I-
lunch breaks.
Yeah, if it could be earlier, I could join, but I can't.
I'm fine.
I have to be somewhere else at noon.
Okay, what time do people like?
Sorry, I was just thinking that, like, if we're launching it on the 25th?
22nd.
22nd.
Oh, on the 22nd, right. Okay.
So like,
So what time
10?
works for
oh,
you guys that have wanted earlier?
What is it like? We're gonna discuss the world or the
Yeah.
event.
Whatever the
the
event
non-world
is.
cafe, and then like what's on the agenda for that?
so all the action items that were, then we just tie the bow on all those.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
bit of prompting
And-
and not practicing, but getting everybody aligned with the messages so that.
Okay.
you
So I
know,
think,
the
yeah,
events
it's like,
are and all that
here's the
stuff.
final
making sure you got
discussion
coverage for
guide,
the
here's the
events.
final survey. Here's the current thinking of the non-World Cafe.
Are you
Here's the
guys-
timeline, here's where people are signed up, here's where we have gaps. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I get, when I said earlier, I just meant, should we try to meet the day before, like on the 20th instead of on the 21st?
Oh,
No,
No? Okay.
that's fine. It's
Well, not
Tuesday, I
for
mean,
me.
we've got all that stuff to incorporate
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Okay.
Stuff going on
Either
in the
day.
back end.
yeah.
I might have to join online, but.
Yeah.
I'll
well,
try.
today's the 14th and the Tuesday is the 19th, so, and that's a holiday weekend, so.
Yeah.
For the Wednesday, so I think you need to give them a couple of working days.
And we should have the survey glitch tested by that Thursday then, maybe?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, you're
Want us
actually
to
gonna,
join in on that glitch test? Would that be helpful?
do with staff, I think. Oh,
you're
Yeah,
gonna beta
we
test
could-
it, you're gonna.
We were gonna
actually
give it
fill out
to
the
staff that
survey.
haven't seen it before. It was part of the goal for that as well, but yeah.
This-
I think
this
it's
is the
better
glitch
if it's-
testing.
Yeah.
If it's a
Okay.
group that haven't been thinking about it for 2 years. Like if it's
Yeah.
better if
Yeah.
it's-
Got you.
Okay.
So what time on the 21st?
where it says on the agenda 11:30.
So still 11:30?
Well, I thought
Or-
we had requests for.
She said
earlier.
a day before, or is it
Oh.
11:30 still? No.
Well,
David, you
Oh, but
can't.
David
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
sorry, okay. It's 10 o'clock work?
If it works for everybody else.
No,
No, it doesn't work for you either. Then what time works for you?
what are we doing now?
The next
Thursday.
meeting.
Oh, we're talking about the 21st and what time?
Anytime on the 21st is fine.
Okay.
So we can do 10?
10's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you. Glenn?
I can't do 10, but it's gonna be hard to select something that works for everybody, so
We could make up for that by signing up for tons of pop-up events.
Yes.
there you go.
Well, if you're not here, you get signed up.
Yeah, we'll just sign.
You might get signed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm told, yeah.
And I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm away for a big chunk of this. I'm away from the 2nd to the 16th.
Well
Okay.
done.
I know. So anyway, hate me now. I'll be signing up for stuff before then, so. Okay, I will call it at that then, if we have that. Just remember that we have some information items on there. Are there any questions? Is there a question period? We don't have any public, so there's
No
no question
public.
The
period,
action
right?
item list is going out by email though. so
Yeah,
you
it'll
guys
go
can-
out.
Okay.
And the 8.2 of the information items, that's the OCP update webpage. So if you have any feedback,
Oh,
on it,
it-
that's the link.
Can we
of the
put that on
world.
the agenda for next week for just to maybe show the group, just sort
Sure,
of
yeah.
how it's landed, et cetera?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
And that we're aware if we ever need to navigate other people to it. So then our item 10, our meeting now is the 21st at 10, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so with that, and it being past 1:30, our meeting is adjourned.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.